Hello everybody, welcome to the Gyrocopter Flying Club. Subscribe and select alerts to be updated on the channel's content. In this film we catch up with some recent accident reports and some information on a new ongoing feature. Accident footage is always popular. I say popular using quotation marks, but you only have to look at YouTube and with the word accident or crash in the title, the viewing numbers show the popular attraction. However, this is, I hope, a trusted gyroplane resource that if nothing else gives solid and commercially impartial views, news and advice. On the accident front therefore, the aim is sincerely one of education and the hope that by highlighting the things that snagged others, the viewer is less likely to be snagged by the same thing. The gyroplane community in some ways is poorly served because very often accidents either don't get reported, some even claim that no flight was intended, i.e. a wheel balancing or rotor management exercise, and then they aren't required to report the incident anyway, or else the investigating team doesn't have any gyroplane experience. They throw around for an opinion externally, but typically that's with someone who has a vested commercial interest. And with no recorded data, and because it's likely it's just another gyroplane that's fallen over on takeoff or landing, it's easy to dismiss things casually. That's not seeking to undermine the investigation authorities, it's just the reality of the situation. In the event someone dies, the accident gets the usual thorough treatment, but there are many more subtle lessons to be learnt from the less serious incidents. In the UK, there is a relatively new classification of air accident called record-only investigations. These are occurrences that, if investigated fully, has little likelihood of identifying new safety lessons that will advance aviation safety. It's easy to dump most gyroplane accidents into this category, and so in future I'll be looking at gyroplane accidents with a critical eye and giving some thoughts on anything that would seem important to highlight. In the meantime, a heads up on some US accidents that have occurred where I have some thoughts. The first is to November 8445P. When this accident occurred in October 2019, everyone seemed to suggest it was another linked nose wheel issue, but that isn't the case. And when you look at the NTSB factual report, this incident was the result of a poor approach and a lack of a go-around. And in trying to force a landing from a poor position, it ended with a lot of yaw, which hadn't been dealt with by touchdown. It should also be noted he was trying to land with a tailwind. Next is November 477 Alpha Golf. The NTSB have only a preliminary report, but record a rapid pitch-up during the takeoff phase with a pilot doing touch and goes. And I'd like to caution pilots about touch and goes and highlight a few snags. The first is to limit yourself to perhaps 4 or 5 touch and goes, because at some point fatigue sets in and all you do is plod around trying to ultimately improve on errors that come with fatigue, not with poor technique. The next snag is around rotor management and the stick position from touchdown to takeoff versus rotor RPM. It's better to bring the aircraft to a full stop, and then if you still have sufficient rotor RPM, start the takeoff roll again. Finally, November 498 Alpha Golf. This MTO sport hit trees on takeoff from a remote field in Texas after trouble with the electronic tablet the pilot was using for navigation. The field turned out to be too small, but really it's poor planning when such a trivial issue forces a landing. Take a paper map and do some fundamental flight planning. But it also highlights poor judgment in the aircraft's takeoff performance, and one wonders what calculations were done or takeoff techniques used. It's either poor training or poor execution of good training. The UK AAIB report on Thursday their May monthly bulletin, and I'll give a roundup of UK events then. Fly safely.